Okay, so I set up my parent binder, moving that out of the way. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you what I would do for a first tour student. In CC Connected, they have, under the resources, they have for essentials what's called the Onward e-zine. So in Foundations, they have Sandbox that has basically a lot of really cool worksheets and stuff that people have found or created, put on CC Connected, and these are all in just one nice spot. So they have things like crossword puzzles and vocabulary worksheets and little like spelling pages where you can list the spelling words. So I like that, and I think it can be a really good source of activities for them to do. They also have check sheets and things like that. I don't use all of that personally. There are lots of people that they do that, and they sit down and that's what they do with their kids. I didn't, because I don't use the spelling, so I didn't need that. So here's what I would do for my kids. All right, so first I would start with a 3-ring binder. This is Kira's cute little girly one. Okay, now on CC Connected, there is a file called the EEL, which means Essentials of the English Language. EEL, I believe it's called Worksheets. I will put in the description exactly what that title is, so, and the user upload, so you can go in and find it, because it's not going to work if I try to link it here. So this is essentially what it looks like. Oh wait, hold on, I'm missing the first page. Oops. Okay, well, I'm going to skip to week 2 because I don't know where the first page is of this. Okay. Oh, maybe they don't have the check sheets. Oh, I took all the check sheets out. That's why. Okay. Well, it looks like this. And yeah, I took the check sheets out because I'm not actually doing stuff in that order. So this year, this is what I'm doing. So every week, kids are supposed to copy charts, right? So I'll just open this up. In your Essentials guide, you had charts, all right? So I put mine in a separate chart or a separate folder. I laminated them. So what most people do is, here's the fill-it-in chart. They will have the blank chart right here, and it's in page protectors. So that all you have to do, the kids can just copy it right there and look. So that's how they can copy it. I think that's a great way to do it. I personally don't like writing on on these because it doesn't look as neat, and I'm ridiculous, and I like writing on paper. So I don't do that, but lots of people do. And then also, like, my kids smash the felt tip, the dry erase markers so that they're not sharp, so they're really big and there's not enough room for it because the marker tip is that big. So I don't do that, but if that works for you, set it up like this, put the chart here and put the blank chart here, okay? But one thing I liked about this worksheet packet is it has the charts, but if you see, I think it might be backwards, I don't know. If you see, they're kind of not, they don't have to fill in everything. So they have some hints. All right, so you can see simple, compound, complex. So you can see here for the chart, it has the S, so they know they have to write simple, compound, complex, okay? And then they're gonna fill this in. All right, so they would do this. I'd have my kid do that first. And it says week 1, day 1. They're actually, all right, I don't know why mine are kind of out of order. I guess it's starting a little bit. Hold on, give me a second. This one, this one. I don't know why it seems to be missing some things. Okay, whatever it is. It says week 1, day 1. Then, so that's your chart. And then what I would also do in our community, kids get tickets. If they can get a ticket per chart, and they can do up to 8 charts. So I count this as filling out a chart. You can just photocopy extra and have 8 of them and be like, hey, if you want your tickets, fill out all 8 of these. All right, this is the next page. It's practice it. It's EEL. So the first week you're talking about what a complete sentence is. So this just kind of reiterates a sentence is a group of words. It expresses a complete thought like a sentence. Anyway, so it has examples, and then so you can go through this. So what I tried doing before, which wasn't successful, is I just like I trusted that my kids would just read through this and understand it and do it on their own. They didn't do that. they just kind of glazed over it and were like, I don't understand what to do. So it has that, and then it's practicing. So in the beginning, is that a sentence, a complete thought? So they're just gonna fill it out together. So I would do that. Okay, then for some reason there's no editing. Maybe editing doesn't start till later. For whatever reason, it's not in this packet. This packet doesn't have any editing for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Usually, okay, I'll have to find the different link, but this typically comes with a chart and then the practice for the EEL, and then it has another page that's editing. So what you could do is you could just use that. And then they would have those pages. I also have a vocabulary worksheet that I would add in. And then I also have, this is another EEL workbook that I found off CC Connected, so it's a mix of things. I'm really gonna focus this time, since I am planning to sit with my kids and do it, I'm anticipating getting things done a little bit faster than they would have like bumbled through it on their own. So I also wanna make sure that they really have a firm understanding of everything before we move forward. So it starts to go pretty quickly, and if your kid's still trying to understand the difference between a subject and a predicate, or figure out which one is a verb transitive or a verb intransitive, it's gonna be really tricky to try to figure out what the OCN is, and if it's a compound complex sentences, and if it's a phrase or if it's a clause. And I'm gonna really focus on making sure my kids hammer the basics. So this is your first year, go slow. So I printed out several different workbook options. So this one has a checklist, verbally copy or recite charts, review pages. I'm not worried about that. So it's got a grammar, like circle the simple sentence below, circle the compound sentence, write a compound sentence below using a fanboy. So I mean, they're not hard, long worksheets. So there's that. And I'm just gonna separate it by week. So these I'll say week 1, day 1. And I'm not actually putting them in a binder for my kids. Some people will take these and they'll put them in binders and then you just open to that page, but I wanna be able to customize it. So for example, if my kids know this chart, I mean, my kids pretty much know this chart already because we have contests to memorize it in our campus. So if they've got this chart and they understand it, I'll just take it out and I'll put it in the next chart that they're supposed to memorize. So it's really flexible. Basically what I'm doing is I'm having a bunch of resources available that I can pull from to meet the kids where they are, my kids where they are. So this says week 1, let's see. The thing that's nice about this second EEL workbook thing is there's an answer key at the back. Actually, this one has an answer key as well. I just didn't print it out. So it says week 1.2. So this is the second page, what is a clause, all that stuff. And then here, so you're technically in CC, we don't have weekly sentences to diagram until week 3, but here's some basic ones to start diagramming. And then some other things like what are the 8 parts of speech? So kind of like little worksheets like that. This also says cycle 1, week 1. So, they're editing here, which I also like. So there's the editing symbols at the bottom. So, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Like, they would go through and say graven is capitalized and it should not be capitalized. So they're gonna edit. When you get your EEL materials, there are actually Bible passages that the kids not translate, that would be really, really advanced. There's Bible passages that the kids edit. For me, that was too confusing. I had trouble figuring out what needs to be capitalized, where a sentence ended, where it needed to be a comma. I personally did not use it. There are lots of families that use it and they are wonderful at doing it. It does not work for me. So I am doing these. I heard a weird noise in my garage. I don't know what that is. Anyway, so there's an editing one. This packet also comes with a crossword puzzle over the vocabulary that they're doing. There's this cute little word find. All right. So those are all pages for week 1. So when I sit with my kids each day, they're going to do a page of that, and that's going to be their EEL. Then it moves on to week 2. All right, so what I am doing is I have these in a hanging file. So here's essentials here, And then here's some more essentials here. All right, so the morning of, I have these, or actually, this is what I'm gonna do it the day before because I don't like doing stuff the morning of. All right, so here's my binder. I got these little things here. They're just dividers, but they have these little like pockets in them. So for the first day, I'm gonna put in one chart, and then this practice it. And then I'm gonna put in one of the, I'm gonna do 3 worksheets. So it doesn't really matter which 3, I'm just gonna do 3 worksheets. I also have some other stuff I'll upload to CC Connected, just like some extra vocabulary, like fill in the blank stuff. So I'm gonna have them do that as well. So whatever, let's just say these are the 2 worksheets I'm gonna have her do, or them do. I'm gonna put it in here. All right, and then put it in their 3-ring notebook. So all they have to do is pull this out and like, all right, here's my EEL work. This is all I've got to do for the day. When they're done and it's corrected and everything's good, I'm gonna have them put it right here. So I haven't, oh, I did hole punch them, okay. So when it's done, I'm gonna put them here. And that way the kids like to see at the end of the year, they have this big stack of worksheets that they've done, so they feel good about it. I feel good about it, I feel like we've done something. So that is what I would do for the EEL. If you're gonna do their spelling, the spelling program in here, what I would do is I would just have like print out, you can have a sheet of notebook paper and label it 1 through 10 and have them just write each word twice and add that into here. All right, so that's all I'm gonna have them do for EEL, I think. I will also have in, oh, you know what? There's another thing I'm gonna have them do too. Sorry, I forgot. Diagramming sentences, so the analytical tasks. So this is also what I would do. It doesn't start, I don't think you don't have CC sentences until week 3, but what I would do is I would just make something super simple. So what I did is I had the analytical task sheet. Notice I did not put in a quid et quo. I didn't put any of that stuff. It's just this. And on a whiteboard. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to dictate the sentence. So you could say, the dog ran, okay? So you're supposed to say to the child, the dog ran. And so the child writes, the dog ran. Okay, then together you go through and check, well, maybe I should do another video for this. I'll do it, whatever, I'll do it quick. All right, then you're gonna go through them and say, okay, does it have a subject? And you go, the dog, what's the subject? The dog. All right, and then you go through all these little check things. Does it have a capital letter? Does it have a predicate? Does it have correct punctuation? So you make sure all that's good to go. If they spell dog, D-O-G-G-Z, then that's when you'll correct for the spelling. You just say, no, you have to do it this way here. All right, actually, let me get a pen so I can show, no, whatever. I'll show people how to fill this out another time, okay? Then you go through the structure and say, is it a simple, compound, complex, or compound, complex? What's the purpose? What's the pattern? And then the diagram. I didn't think this was enough room. The kids, the sentences get kind of long moving it. So what we always did was we flipped it over and I had the kids use rulers and diagram on the back. It's just much prettier and bigger. So the dog ran, they'll parse it up here. So the is an article. So the article dog is a subject noun and then ran will be verb intransitive. Okay. So what I would do is actually, I would put that. And I'm gonna start on week 1 with my kids doing this because they've done this before, so they're familiar with it. So I would start with 1 sentence, see how your kids react to it. I phrased it as diagramming, for my kids, I phrased it as like a puzzle, like a brain teaser. They've got to figure out how the puzzle works, and they were kind of excited to do that. And I also told them, like, this is stuff that most kids don't do. Like kids in school, most schools, even private schools don't, I learned it in private school, most kids don't do this. And this is, people always talk about how my professors and teachers always said I had great writing, and I'm convinced it's because I did diagramming sentences. So anyway, I would have those worksheets, and then first tour, I would just do one sentence, 1 analytical task, and do that 1 per day. So just remember, there's only 4 days in the week because the 5th day you're going to be at your community day. So that's what I would do for my kids binder.